What would be your biggest tip for coming to Hong Kong Disneyland? Don't come. So we've had 2 fairly full days so far here. This is a park that, well, you really could do it all in.
You could do it all in a day if you really wanted to.
Yeah, if you planned your day extremely well, you could do this park easily within a day. If you wanted to stretch it out and just relax a little bit, because we had Willow, we kind of did the relaxing side of things. And I feel like we've nearly done everything in 2 days. I think there's only 1 or 2 rides that we haven't gone on, and they're not huge rides. It was just the fact that we just ran out a bit of time last night, which was like the Orbitron and in Tomorrowland. What else is there? I feel like that's it.
Parachute. Toy Story.
Oh, Toy Story Parachute Drop. That is it. They're pretty much the only 2 rides we haven't been on. So the food in Disneyland. Hong Kong Disneyland.
I haven't really been a fan of it. The pork chop was really good, but other than that, I don't think I've had anything to eat that I'm like, oh, I feel great after that meal, like really satisfied, because I haven't enjoyed anything that much.
There hasn't been a lot of the wow factor, like where you go to Disneyland Resort and the wow factor, like they're trying to put that wow factor in on the food, where here they really don't. The emphasis is not on the food, it's elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think they got food to fill up your bellies, but not that big emphasis on.
I think though a lot of it's because we quite like the typical street food of Disneyland, and they don't really have that here.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're
Like they don't.
where they try to have it, like their burgers and stuff, that it's not very good meat qualities in there. It's like you're eating a frozen patty.
Oh, well, and the buns, being those red buns, they're not fresh. They feel like they're frozen and come out of a thing there and defrosted on the day. It does, yeah. I understand it. It's harder here for them with food wise, but. And also, you've also got to be aware of when eating food. Here, when you do, like if you go and have a burger or fried chicken or chips, they'll give you some gloves because they don't normally eat with their hands in certain areas of China, so and like using chopsticks or something like that. So they give you gloves, and you'll see a lot of people wear gloves while eating, and that will throw you a little bit. I feel like when you first see it for the first time. The other thing is the costings of everything.
So expensive. For the Australian conversion. Like our dollar's better, a lot better, but
the food is just
so expensive.
So expensive. And even if you did it in American dollars, it's still ridiculously expensive. Like it's expensive for us, but it's even more like it's a little bit cheaper if you're an American, but it's still like using American dollars. But for Australians, it is ridiculously expensive. Although the accommodation wasn't that bad, was it? Really?
No, the accommodation wasn't, and that's why we went the most expensive, because it was still quite affordable. It was affordable.
So it's the food and drinks that you've got to make sure. The merchandise is around comparable to everywhere else. Like when you're buying like a hat, or it's about the same price as what you buy it in any other theme park. It is just the fact that the food is ridiculously expensive. Oh, and if you're getting your tickets for Disneyland here, go through Klook. I know normally you'll probably go through to the Disneyland website and that sort of stuff, but you'll get a discount through Klook if you buy them through there.
It is far cheaper through Klook, but if you actually utilise the 20% off dining voucher, that'll save you more than what the difference is between Clute and Disneyland.
That's right, because we did get that voucher, didn't we? I forgot about that voucher. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
Because that voucher saved us like 20%.
20%. So we save money. But it is very easy to get your things. But just remember, if you do buy your tickets from Clute, before you register your tickets through Disney, wait about 5 to 10 minutes, otherwise it'll keep coming up with errors. And the biggest tip you can do is just wait about 5-10 minutes. It just takes a little bit of time for that transaction to register through to the Disney website, so then you can register your tickets and that. And you need to take your passport in with you. And this is just part of part of the rules in Hong Kong. You need to take your passport wherever you go, and also you don't have a physical ticket like you do at Disneyland or any magic bands or anything, so you do need to take just print out the ticket. To be honest, it's 100% easier than taking a screenshot on your phone. Just print out the tickets and bring them with you. The other thing is when you get with your tickets, if you leave and you come back into the park, you need to take a selfie of yourself before you leave, at the front of the train station before you leave, because that may be that's because it's time stamped. If they need to, they can, and your tickets, something's going on or whatever, just take a selfie in front of the thing, because that's time stamped and it proves that your eligibility to come back into the park and that you have been in the park today. It's just one of the things I recommend, because their ticketing system is, to be honest, it's quite outdated.
You to go do it before you even leave.
Yeah, and they tell you to do it before you leave, just in case. So just take a selfie of the train station when you just before you leave. Premier access. That's another thing they have here, where you can skip the lines. Do you need it? No. If I was coming here for one day and one day only, and you're wanting to pump out the rides as quickly as you can, that's when I would get it. But if you're coming for 2 days, don't even bother. No one really uses the Premier Pass, and it's kind of like the Lightning Lane. It just gets you to a certain point before the merge point into the ride. But you definitely do not need Premier Pass, because no one else is using it. The lines move pretty quick. Another tip if you're coming to Hong Kong Disneyland is
don't take a toddler.
Yeah, also don't take a toddler. You'll enjoy yourself a lot more. Or a 2-year-old who's trying to defy, hey, wait a second, I'm boss, when really they're not boss, but they're trying to pretend that they're bosses.
Yeah, look at it now.
Look. She thinks she's still the boss.
Are you boss, baby?
If you're around 4 o'clock-ish, bugs really do start to come out, and especially mosquitoes. So if you're staying on one of the Hong Kong properties, it's probably a really good idea to make sure you spray yourself with insect repellent, or take some with you if you're staying off property. It's one of the biggest things I recommend. Like, we left the park to go back to the hotel to actually get some repellent and that sort of stuff on, because
first aid probably have some.
Oh, yeah, that's true. If you went to the first aid in Disneyland, in Disneyland here, they probably do have some, actually.
Well, they have everything in the other ones.
Yeah. And they've got a couple of first aid places here as well. So they've got one in Grizzly Gulch, and they've also got one basically the same state, and they've also got the baby change centres in exactly the same spots in Disneyland. So just around the corner of where you would have in Disneyland, you would have you've got the Plaza Inn. Yeah, so you got in between the Plaza Inn, just across from there in Disneyland, and it's in exactly the same spot here. So it does mirror that, which makes life easier. And that's where the first aid area is. So if you were going to, just remember, if you've got a headache or anything like that, once again, just go to Breakout in Hives, and they will help you. That happened last time when we went to Disneyland. So go to the first aid cabinet. That's just a big tip. They will help you and try to get you patched up so you can finish off your merry way for the day. We're going back to the park on our way back in. The language barrier is literally not existent.
See, my dad said that in China next to no one was speak English.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
I think we ran into maybe 2 people that didn't speak English.
Somewhat English.
Yeah, or they had broken, like they understood broken English, but very rarely was there someone that we walked up to and we couldn't communicate with them whatsoever. It was like if they couldn't, and you're ordering food, you just go 1, 2, and 3. That's pretty much lit on the menu. Simple. But other than that, every single other person was...
But they also have menus at the counter when you're ordering to point.
Yeah.
The pictures of everything.
Correct. I think at one of them, with the egg breakfast, when I was getting my scrambled eggs, he couldn't speak English, but you just point to the one and then he points to it to confirm, and that was it. That was literally the only person with a language barrier that we literally came across, and once again, really wasn't even a language barrier. One of the other things, another tip is if you're coming here to Hong Kong Disneyland, is tripods. You can actually take selfie sticks with like a selfie stick tripod here that actually extends out. You can't obviously extend the actual thing out on the rides, but you can actually bring them in the park, which I was kind of upset about because you go to the parks in America.
Photos at the castle and.
Oh yeah, you can extend out like with the selfie, and you can't use them in Disneyland Resort, but you can use them here. It's insane. People will stand there and they literally bring it down and they're taking their shots and then they pose, and there's tripods everywhere. It's kind of insane the difference that you can actually have with a tripod, and I kind of wish I was able to bring my arm for my action 4. It would have been amazing. The biggest tip I'll probably give for World of Frozen, so we're here for the second day of World of Frozen at the moment, where it's officially open, and you kind of want to definitely get here early as possible. So whenever they're doing road drop, that's when you really want to be here, or even take advantage of the early entry. So another really good tip if you're coming to Hong Kong Disneyland is shaded areas and cool places. These places are normally really humid, or it's just hot. Today is actually hot. It's kind of a hot day today. The sun's actually kind of really hitting us pretty hard today. The other days were a little bit cooler than other days, but it's probably cooler yesterday. But their Adventureland is really shaded, and also in Mystic Manor's area is really shaded. It's a really great, cool place if you're wanting to cool down a little bit. Come down to Adventureland or go to Mystic Manor. Those 2 places are probably the coolest. You want to kind of stay away on the hot days, really hot days, away from obviously Main Street. Main Street is really hot because there's obviously no shade down there. Toy Story Land is, because of the cement, it kind of gets you both ways. So it's kind of hot, but it's also blinding because of the cement. So I feel like one of the biggest problems is the color of the cement there, because when it gets hot, it's really glary on your eyes. But that's probably the hottest place to actually be is Toy Story Land. But the Adventureland and Mystic Point are absolutely fantastic. So when you do come to Hong Kong Disneyland, definitely try to seek out those cooler areas. Have a nice cool break. Another tip is to work out when the best time to come to Hong Kong Disneyland. And the best times are between November and April. These are normally the most quietest times here. It's probably changed a little bit obviously in November here because the Frozen Land just opened up, and that's been probably really popular, or World of Frozen has just opened up. So that's obviously mean more people have come through the park. But it's also the coolest time of year to come through. So it's not humid. It hasn't been humid here at all during our time here. Where if you do come outside of those time frames, it's actually really humid here. So you've just got to be proud. And when we say humid, think of Florida, but worse for humidity. So sometimes we think Florida is really big and then the humidity is there. No, multiply that, and that is how humidity is here. So if you do come, best time to come is November and April. Leaving Hong Kong Disneyland does feel a lot different compared to leaving Disneyland.
Yeah, I never.
Well, when we did leave Disneyland, Disneyland Resort, it had that feeling of that you're leaving your friend, like your best friend. Where this is that different feeling of leaving. It's like we're going, but I feel like it was very accomplished. It doesn't feel like we missed anything because it's such a smaller park. It's not like we're...
No, it's not like I feel like we need to rush to come back. I would stop over if we were...
coming through, but yeah, we probably wouldn't need to come back unless they did something new or something upgraded to the place. Where Disneyland, we've been there for, well, we've been over probably about 3 weeks and this year, and it still feels like we haven't done everything.